Hey, it's Tyrone Jackson of Wealthy Investor Trade School, WITradeschool.com, coming at you with another hot video. Now, you guys know that I'm always helping you stay ahead of the curve, getting you to think about the market, getting you to think about both trading stocks and investing them. And this is one video you don't want to miss. So make sure you watch it until the end because a lot of times I cover stocks that don't get a lot of media attention and they tend to go higher, and that's because of the whole wealthy investor approach of fundamentals versus whether Wall Street likes a stock and it's a member of the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial Average. But you knew that. But what I want to talk to you about in 2017 are sectors of the market that have a lot of growth to them, sectors of the market that have a lot of growth to them. And that's what this particular video is about. Normally, I don't highlight certain sectors, but in 2017, I have to do that because there's a lot of growth and opportunities there. So stay with me here. You know, I always ask you about your wealth consciousness and keeping an open mind. Now I need you to keep an open mind so I can show you what most investors are missing in this market. We're going to start off first with software. Now, here is a 10-year chart of a company that you might know called Microsoft, right? And on a split adjusted basis, what does that mean? After the stock has split multiple times over a 10-year period, this is what the chart looks like. Okay, so the stock has a tendency, obviously, to run, I call this the Sesame Street approach to investing. You always look at a picture first, a longer term chart before you decide whether you want to invest your money in the stock itself. But you'll notice here that around 10 years ago, the stock on a split adjusted basis, okay, was around 16 bucks. See where I'm hovering right here, around $16 a share. That's because 10 years ago we experienced a software explosion. And you know that software are computer instructions, digital instructions that go inside things like handheld devices, desktop computers, laptops, etc., 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 gaming devices, right? Okay, so had you owned Microsoft shares even just 10 years ago and you held it, your shares would have gone from about $16 to where it is right now, which is in the 60s. Of course, again, I want to emphasize these numbers are split adjusted, okay? So you know a lot of people built an enormous amount of wealth in the software business because Microsoft wasn't the only software business. Today, in this market, we're seeing trends around something called semiconductors. Now, what are semiconductors in their most basic form? Someone's going to watch this video and criticize me for my definition of semiconductors, but I don't care. That's what I do. Semiconductors are also known as chips, and they are devices that go in almost every electronic device, but most popular in today's world, handheld devices, laptops, games. And they basically conduct electricity so that the components inside of a handheld device get the electrical signals and distribution of information that they need. Software is kind of like the instructions for semiconductors. Okay, so that's just a very brief overview. So if you think of Microsoft as a software developer, inside every Microsoft device are what? Semiconductors. Well, we're in the middle of a revolution in handheld devices and electronic devices. So therefore, companies that order semiconductors that have unique propositions are doing very well. So I want to highlight in this video a company called Nvidia, NVDA. And you'll see that we're looking at a 5-year chart of this semiconductor company where the stock seemed to have held for almost no real reason around $14. And what happened in 2016? This stock exploded to the upside. Now, they're not only just in the semiconductor business, they have a specific type of chip and software that, I'm going to use layman's terms here, essentially makes gaming devices much more vivid, the imagery. And this company's proprietary semiconductors have been discovered by the gaming industry, so everybody wants their product. Now, I don't like just investing or trading stocks that just burst out of nowhere unless there's some fundamental reasons behind it. And you know what I mean by that. top line revenue growth on an annual basis and on a quarterly basis. I'm not going to go through that in this video, but that is something you must learn about if you really, really want to be successful. So all of a sudden we see an explosion here, but in this particular company, ticker symbol NVDA, what's really interesting is there's a lot of promise for them and their proprietary semiconductor and software packages that they have that they can now sell to huge gamers around the country. Now, why am I putting this video together for you? Because part of having a financial education is understanding these various sectors of the marketplace, because this is not the only semiconductor stock that is experiencing exponential growth here. There are others, but I want to limit it to Nvidia here. Now, what makes this so important, you'll notice we're using a 5-year chart. This trend is at its beginning, right? And if we click on the 1-year chart, you really see when the company really started to take off. Now, their competition in the semiconductor space are also experiencing growth because there's a lot of development there going on. But this company in particular is really interesting. Now, that is a very smooth transition in what I call an upward trend. However, what's really fascinating is that this stock can also be traded, and I wanted to show you this. You know, in the Wealthy Investor Program, it's all about covered calls and guaranteed income from the stock market, which you should be doing in your trading account. If we're in January and we go out, I just wanted you to see this to the February option chain. The stock is at 101. 101.74. The out of the money 102 strike call is unheard of. It is $8.80 or $880 per contract. So what does that mean? That trading this stock right now pulls in $800 every 6 weeks if you use it as a covered call. So let's go back and look at this explosive growth in the 1-year chart. They say seeing is believing. Look at the 5-year chart, right? And think of Microsoft explosion on the software side. We now have Nvidia doing what? Exploding on the semiconductor side. Now, here's what I want you to remember. This is not the only stock that's doing that. But in order, I always have a saying, don't buy the stock unless you understand the story. But if you have a trading account, I want you to think about semiconductors inside your portfolio and holding these stocks for the long term. I'm not telling you must go and buy them. I'm just saying if you're attracted to technology, there's something in the semiconductor segment that's going on right now. So think technology, not only software, but semiconductors, and you'll do very well for yourself. Okay? So that's my thought of the day. I want you to really think about semiconductor stocks and what they mean in your portfolio, because we're in the middle of a huge growth trend. If for some reason you'd like to learn more about stock market trading, what other semiconductor stocks are exploding, you want to start your membership right now at witradeschool.com. That's obviously where I take your trading questions. I share with you my stock picks, and guess what? It's all video. So if you can watch a video like you're watching now, then you can watch all of my favorite trades and the stocks that are in play right now in this market at witradeschool.com. Okay, so this is Tyrone Jackson, the Wealthy Investor, saying, hey, we're going to start 2017 with a bang and stay in the know of the stocks that are hot, because we have a lot of trends in play in the stock market right now. So stay open, stay positive, and keep that millionaire mindset going, because now is the time to both trade and invest equally in the stock market.